This is Rachel Awtry, and you're listening to the Radical Radiance Podcast.
Rachel, I am so excited to have you today. Thank you for being with me.
Oh my goodness, thank you for having me. This is a blast. Fun to get to know friends on in this corner of the internet.
I know. I was telling somebody just the other day, I think one of my favorite parts about launching a book is getting to catch up with all my friends. And one of my favorite parts of podcasting is getting to meet new friends that have been on the fringes for a while. We have mutual friends, but you and I have never sat down to talk, which is way overdue.
So great.
So I am so excited that you're launching this new book out into the world that we get to talk about today. So for our friends, the full title is Love Your Life, Even When You Don't Like It All the Time, a realistic guide to unlocking joy in life's messy, mundane, and magnificent. What a title.
She's chunky, but
She's chunky. She's chunky, but we love her. Yeah, I love it so much. And I feel like our friends who have been walking through my newest book, You're Not Too Late, this feels like such an important book for them to couple with that, because I feel like they're cousins, which is really fun. And so our friends who have been digging into that content are really going to love this conversation. So I am so excited to dig in. I would love for us to start. I mean, the title itself tells us a lot, right? And I do think that it can be so challenging in so many different ways to love our lives when even we don't like it all the time. So what does it mean to you to love your life even when you don't like it? And what led you to this message?
It is possible that you could love your life even when you don't like it. It's also possible that you could not love your life because you don't like it. And I realize there's almost like a fork in the road, right? There's so many small things about my life that I wish could change. And there's lots of big parts about my life that I wish looked different too. The question now is okay, well then how do we live with that if we can't change it? And if I can't change my life, I was determined I'd change my mind. And I was like, how do I, if I'm not ever guaranteed that this circumstance changes, which a lot of them for me were loss and grief and death, and spoiler alert, you can't bring people back from the dead. I mean, Jesus himself can, but Rachel Awtry cannot. And so
that's right.
I just trying to learn, how do I live a life that is full of fun, full of legacy, one that I get to the end of and I'm like, that was epic. That was a really good time. And I enter the gates of heaven with confidence in Christ, not because I cowered to my own circumstances, but because I rose above. And that is a tricky conversation to have if you don't have practicals a part of it. And I just felt like we need a book. I needed a book. I needed a roadmap. Okay, I want that, but how do I actually do that? And so I just started experimenting and trying things, experimenting with healthy things, rhythms, habits, community, things that weirdly started working. And then when I took it back to scripture, I was like, well, duh, of course this would work, right? this all adds up. I should have seen it at the very beginning, but so many times we like to talk about it, but we don't like to do it. And so this book is about actually doing it, actually loving your life, even when you don't like it, instead of just talking about the parts that you don't like.
Yeah. So good. So good. And you mentioned the word rhythms, which I think is really important here. And so I think sometimes we just crave, there's just chaos everywhere and I need to organize my chaos, or I need a way to think through rhythms that will be helpful to me in this. So can you share a little bit about how you established healthy rhythms, what that looked like for you in all the hats that you wear, right? Which a lot of our listeners will relate to. You're a mom, you're a wife, you're a creative. So what's that looked like? And then maybe what's even a rhythm that's currently working for you in the chaos of book launch?
I love that. I love that so much. So whenever I say rhythms, I think people's minds go to, they think of calendar, time blocking.
Yeah.
And I want to just for a second, we take off this pair of glasses and we look at this differently, rhythms, things that you do and things that you don't do. And when you do the things, when and why do you do them? That is a rhythm.
Yeah.
I think they're needed. I also think that the rhythms conversation also needs the asterisk at the bottom that's and there will also be days when this will not be possible. So have grace and compassion. That's also a part of this conversation too. I talk about in the book, I'm every one of your favorite songs, I would guarantee if you're a Celine Dion girl, okay, we love her songs because there's a key change, because she catches us off guard and disrupts us a little bit. But at the bottom line, at the end of the day, there's a melody, there are lyrics that we know. but there
Yeah.
is a key change. And so our lives, we look at it like a song, we'll have key changes, but it's important that we do have a rhythm and a melody and a beat behind it. That is the soundtrack to it all. I think of, I'll go first, I'll get personal, but like our lifestyle is very different. My
Yeah.
husband is a pilot, which means that when he's home, he is home. But when he is gone, he is gone. There is not this guarantee at like 5 p.m. he'll come home and help me with the kids and bedtime, bath time. I do a lot of solo momming. I'm a military wife. I'm familiar with deployments. Like these are little small things that are like on the
Yeah.
Rachel's list of, I don't like this part.
Sure.
But I will still champion him. I will still show up for him. Rhythms have kept me alive in that. Like, okay, whether it's the rhythms of what we eat and when we eat them so that it clears up some brain calories for me to spend on other things, or it's I want to move my body and I want to hang out with my friends. So maybe I'll do so on Friday mornings with my girl, Abby. And so that's our summer rhythm we've instilled right now. It's working. It's like,
I
okay,
love that.
mama goes on a 6:30 a.m. walk with Miss Abby. And that's just what we do.
Yeah.
It could be a rhythm of even like holy rhythms, spiritual discipline rhythms, a Sabbath, like one day of the week. Doesn't have to be a Sunday. Mine is Thursday that I take off, don't schedule anything, and I be. It was like having things that your soul can count on when there's so much you cannot count on is crucial. That's why rhythms matter.
I love that. One of our very best friends, a couple in our life, the husband's a pilot. And it's one of those friendships, and you know this, it's so rare in marriage where like you just absolutely adore the wife as much as your husband loves the husband.
That's a
Like
gift.
what a rare gift,
Yeah.
right? And they're actually quite a bit older than us, which is also so fun because I learn from their wisdom all the
That's
time.
amazing.
But it's so interesting to see how, you know, I mean, they're in their late 50s, early 60s, and how she's kind of navigated through the challenges of his schedule, their whole marriage, and how she just has like found this life she loves.
Mhm.
Even when he's gone. And we started doing bar together. That's like you and Abby
Yeah,
walk.
girl, get those sticky socks. Do the bar.
Yeah, me and Cynthia do bar, you and Abby walk. And there'll be times where she's like, you know, Scott's coming home tonight. And so I just know our weekend will be what it's supposed to be rhythm wise if I'm just like there and I'm just present because I want to be there when he gets home. And so it's just interesting how we just figure that out for our lives and what works for us based on like the nuts and bolts of that. And there's so much freedom there, you know? And so anyway, you talking about that in your all's life reminded me of them. I love it.
It's
So fun.
crazy life.
It's crazy life. You know, I think a really important part of this is comparison, especially in our culture today, because I think more than ever before, we just have this opportunity to look around at other people's lives and compare our life to theirs. And I talk about this a lot when I have been talking about You're Not Too Late. I even look at my mom and my grandmother, let's say even just one or two generations removed from me, and how different their struggle with comparison is or isn't
Right.
because of their use of technology. And I just think I'm so fascinated by that. And even just the pressure that I think is released in that, right? Like my mom isn't friends on Facebook. She doesn't even have Facebook. She's not friends on Facebook with her best friends from high school from 20 years ago. And like, I love that I can have access to that in my friends' lives. But then there's this pressure to like know their kids' names and their birthdays when like she lives on the other side of the country. And she's, as much as I love and adore her still, she's not in my everyday life. And so there's this pressure to know and keep up. And then also this pressure to compare, I think, in our culture today. And so I think it creeps in really subtly, especially when our lives don't look like maybe we hoped, which is what we're talking about here. And so what are some practical ways that you have fought comparison in your own life?
Yeah. Oof. Okay, I'm gonna say something, and I want to like. I wish I could just like hold our friends' hands. And say
Right?
it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna be spicy take, but I think that comparison gets the rap that it's us versus them. But I also think that a bigger part of this equation is realizing that for me, many times it's also me versus me.
Yeah.
Like I'm comparing where I am, like your book. Like I'm comparing where I am versus where I thought I should be. I'm comparing where I am versus where I was. And so I'm trying to play this game with like, where do I stand? Like on what level am I today? And that is not if you have chosen a life that is centered around Jesus himself and the gospel truth, which is that it is not about us and our capabilities and what we have, what we don't, where we are, and where we will be. then you believe that in the day, it does not matter what level you are on. It just matters that you have shown up to play.
Yeah.
And I want people to hear that it's easy to blame, like, oh, I went on Instagram and I saw that they were on a trip to Greece. And then all of a sudden I got sad because I hadn't traveled in a minute. Comparison, if we're going to call out the enemy and see it for what it is, we have to realize that it plays a game in our hearts too before it really starts to manifest and show itself in our relationship versus others. So if we can get good at undoing the scripts in our head of, you know what, I thought my marriage would be different, or I thought I'd be in a different place at this point, or my jeans are tighter than they were a month ago. Like if we stopped playing those comparison games where we're truly comparing who we are today versus who we have been or will be, then I think it'll be much easier to be able to stop that spiral when someone else gets pulled into the equation too. So I just want someone to hear me say, like, before you stop comparing yourself to others, you have to stop comparing yourself to yourself.
Yeah. So good. So good. And I think another important part of this is talking about the longings that happen in our hearts as we are like trying to love our lives and we're balancing kind of this both and, right, of contentment and longing, right? Because we live in the middle of a broken world. I say, and you're not too late, like longing leads to more longing. I remember when I was kind of discovering the message of that book, at first I thought it might be a book on singleness, but as I like reflected on my life, I just realized it's so much bigger than like one area of our lives, right? It touches so many parts of us. And so I want to talk about that tension a little bit of holding both, right? We can be grateful for what is and hold space for what is not yet. And so, what's it looked like for you to walk that line and experience joy in that, all of those things?
I say something to myself often, and it's, if I was always comfortable, I wouldn't need a comforter.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to us really wanting, needing to have a longing to realize we actually don't have it all.
Yeah.
But I think the contentment part of it too is another choice that you have to make to realize, but I also wasn't made to have it all in this
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
So we do live in that tension, this side of heaven. And I think that that tension is the biggest gift, at least for me, that I'm
Yeah.
able to realize there's more, or I want more. And God's like, because there is on the other side, you know, like there's
Yes.
so much more, Rach. Like I need you to have that mindset of like, this isn't doing it for me. This doesn't cut it. He's like, precisely, right? Like that's the whole point. So like the longing is so necessary. However, like if we continue to live in that, like, I want more, then we turn into like greedy, awful, crummy people.
Yeah.
And so then there also is this other side. It's like, I want more. I know there's more, but I'm not going to keep looking for it here because I know it's not here.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, if you're digging for treasure and you are like, I want more treasure. And God's like, okay, well then go look in the other part of the beach because it's not right here where you are, you know, but the
Yeah.
contentment is realizing I should probably stop digging. I should probably go to where the treasure is.
Yeah.
So it's that. It's both are actually welcome and both are necessary to live a life with Jesus, to realize it's not all here. There is more on the other side. There is the hope of heaven. However, while we are here, we will be grateful for this life that we're able to live.
Yes.
It's a both and, Rebecca. I wish that there was a better answer, but it is.
You and me both.
It's a
Yeah.
gift that there is too, you know?
Yeah. And I think too, sometimes what will happen is the way we build our lives, especially with the gift of technology in many ways, but like we don't want to have to go to the store. And so we DoorDash everything we need for dinner. And then we have an early flight the next morning. We don't inconvenience a friend. We just Uber and we're there in 15 minutes. Like we've created lives that don't need waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And even the insignificant parts of our lives, like getting groceries or getting to the airport. And so then it's like no surprise to me that I struggle with like my desire to have kids. Right. And because our hearts have no resiliency in the everyday
That's
to
right.
do that. And so when I haven't practiced that in the little like death by a thousand cuts things, then man, I don't have the resilience to do it in the big things. And so I'm often like, man, it's actually really good for me to just stand in line at Kroger and not get my phone out. You know, like
it's those little choices that truly add up to a bigger pile of something that you can use as evidence to be like, actually, Rebecca is a very patient person. And here's how I know is because I've chosen to practice patience. Or I know Rachel is a resilient person. How? Okay, because she chooses to do hard stuff. Like go 1 rep more with the way she
Yeah.
exercises her body, or like honor her body for rest and have to cancel plans and potentially embarrass herself. Like those things is what, when we can choose to do the hard stuff, it makes when we don't get to choose to do the hard stuff much easier.
Totally. Totally. I love it. Okay. You talk a little bit in the book about entertaining and hospitality,
Yeah.
which I would love to talk about because
Let's
I
go.
think
That's one of my favorite parts. That's
I
my whole
know.
favorite chapter.
I think it's such an important distinction, especially for women, because we feel so much pressure to like have everything perfect, everything like Instagram perfect. And I even was reading through this and thinking about this, preparing. We had friends over for dinner last night, and that just like freed me up thinking about it that way, because my house was not perfect. Everything was not like picture perfect when they got there. And we had like the sweetest, best night with our friends. And so I just would love to have that conversation of what does it look like to step more into just like soul filling hospitality, even when it looks super messy.
This kind of very much goes back to even the comparison conversation, and even what we were just talking about, like practicing hard stuff.
Yeah.
This was this for me, where I was like, I have to practice it not being perfect to realize that where imperfection lies, like intimacy does too.
Yeah.
In my friendships, in my marriage, like whenever I can take a chance and say something that's scary, messy, dark, sad,
Yeah.
just something to Thomas, my spouse, my husband, and he's able to be like, I hear you. That's really hard. Like, let's sort through that.
Yeah.
We just unlocked a whole new place in our marriage because he's able to hold that with me. Well, same for our friends, same for whenever people come over to our homes. I think we've thought, like, if I host a Bible study, if I have a girls' night, if I have a couple over for church or whatever to our home, then like the toys must be picked up, or the floors must be mopped, or the plates must be matching. And I'm like, wait, yes, it is so fun to entertain people and to throw a
Yes.
fun party or a wedding or a baby shower. But like having people over simply after church, or like having a small group over where the point is to share lives, then like,
Yeah.
please don't clean up the toys.
And like, we live in this house. We live here.
You live there. Right. I'm like, okay, yeah, I just, or even like, please help me out. Like, will you dry these dishes after I wash? Or will you help me set the table or whatever?
Yeah.
Number one, scientifically, people love something to do at other people's homes, or else they get bored and they feel awkward, especially if it's their first time meeting. So there's a lot of like science brain research behind this. It's like, have people do something in your home besides eat, drink, and be merry. Like have them help, have conversations. The other side of that is also, there's also something that happens when someone enters a home that's not perfect, and they know it is, for me, the biggest compliment when I go over to someone's home and they may be tidied, but they surely didn't like vacuum, mop, dust, and freak out before I came over, because I'm like, oh, they trust me. Like this is a space I've just entered. I've entered a sacred space that they didn't clean up to create a sterile place. And that is something I long for in friendships. And that's kind of like my flag. Like, okay, we're there. Like I can be real here. And I want to create that space for other people too.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. We got done with dinner last night and our friends just started like grabbing everything and rinsing off dishes, putting them in the dishwasher. And my husband was like, "You're making me feel uncomfortable. Like we're entertaining you all, whatever." And he was like, "Dude, we're not friends, we're family. Like we're just cleaning up dinner. Like just let us, you know?"
And I didn't really learn this until some hard stuff in life started happening. And I had to have people like, I mean, this one that comes to mind, I wish that this is the only one, but we've just had dozens of stories over the past decade of our marriage where just like things have happened that we're like, we need significant help here. Like we have help across our forehead, I swear, because people are just like stepping in, swooping in, doing stuff. I didn't have a choice, like I had to take our youngest to the ER one day because he was having awful retracted breathing whenever he was a few weeks old. And I went in, I was at a play date with a new friend for my oldest when he started retracting, wheezing, like scary stuff for a little infant to be doing. And I think I just turned to like a ghost, like new, but also was like, you're a new friend. So I don't know how much panicky I can be around you. I'm trying to keep my cool because I'm a fun mom, but also I'm terrified right now. And so she could read me. She's like, you need to go to the ER. I was like, I do. You're so right. And I was like, but what about, she's like, I've got it. I've got Maddox. We will get him home and bathed and clean and in bed and it's going to be fine. And I came home and she had done my dishes, started my laundry, put my child to sleep, had Zaxby's waiting for me. Praise God. When I came home from the late ER night. And it was that moment I was like, I'm pretty sure the toilet wasn't flushed, and I'm pretty sure, I like started going through things in my mind, and they saw it and they stayed anyways. And I just think we have to remember, like, we are not going to ruin people's lives because we choose to be ourselves. And if we do, then those people don't deserve a place in our life. Like, they're not resilient enough for us.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hope, though, that people listening don't have to get to a place of desperation to realize, like, oh, actually, people are allowed in.
Yes.
But I had to get to a place of desperation for people to truly swoop in.
Yeah. And I think that's true for a lot of us,
Mm-hmm.
right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes we have to, like, be the brave one to go first in that.
Yeah.
Too. And so Rachel and I are here to tell you, like, it is okay to go first. It is okay to be the brave one and just let people see your mess. So I love that so much. Well, if somebody's listening and they're like, okay, I press play because I don't love my life today. I want to love my life, but I need help. Like, what would be kind of your, like, parting words of encouragement to her as she listens?
Okay. First, I want you to be so for real about the parts that you don't like, because what's hidden can't be healed. Like, if you just try to shove it and keep it and put it in a closet, next time you open the closet to put the next thing in that you don't like, the rest of the stuff's going to fall out.
Yeah.
I want you to, like, compartmentalize, like, not compartmentalize, like, put it away, don't think about it, but, like, organize these thoughts. Where do they belong? Yeah. Is it a minor inconvenience that truly I can pray about and ask the Lord, like, okay, this is so silly. Please take this from me. Is this a major thing that you're like, okay, I might need some, like, professional help here? Yeah. Is it something that you need to bring out of a secret space and share with your friends? Like, figure out what to do with the thing that you don't like first. Then stop looking at it. Like, I think of, like, trying to put my 2-year-old to sleep sometimes. I feel like I'm just staring at him like, please fall asleep, please fall asleep. And, like, the more I look at him, the more he's just looking back at me like, not happening. And so I feel like it can be that thing sometimes where we just are looking at, like, okay, how's it doing? Okay, I'm going to open the tab and check the thing. Stop looking at it and start focusing and putting the energy that you would spend on that onto focusing on, okay, what does God have for me in this moment right here that I might miss otherwise, because I'm so focused on tunnel vision, getting through this, that there's so much of the peripheral that I'm just not seeing. And when you do, it's weird. It's strange. You just start kind of seeing stuff, like really cool things, like flowers that you didn't even realize, or the fact that a tree blooms at a certain time of year, or when you go on a walk or a run and the wind blows at the right time and you get a fresh breeze. Like, just things start happening and your mind is now attuned to seeing it, and it irritates you in, like, the best way, where you just can't not have the evidence that although life is really hard and there's parts you don't like, that you can still love it, and God is still in pursuit of you, of your heart, of your life, and is trying to show up every day to show you that. And it's up to us to go out and actually see it.
Yeah. So good. So good. And if you are struggling to just be really honest before the Lord with, like, what you're not loving, and as you're putting those things in the closet and you're wanting to, like, really be honest, a scripture that has helped me so much, it's in Psalm 139, verses 23 and 24. I talk about this a lot, and You're Not Too Late. We walk through it at the end of every chapter, and I call it the Search Me, God prayer. And those verses say, search my heart, O God, try me and know my anxious thoughts. And if there be a grievous way in me, lead me in the way everlasting. And I have kind of started using that a little bit as a prompt as I'm having those moments in my own life of, like, God, you have full permission to examine my heart. Show me where the way I'm thinking about this is different from your perspective, is not pointing my heart back to truth. And would you do just that? Would you just point me back to your perspective on this? And so that has been a helpful tool, just buried in scripture for me as well, as I've navigated through that.
Yes.
So good. Well, I have a question that I ask all the guests that come on the Radical Radiance podcast. The show really has a heart to have conversations that help women see what it looks like to radiate the heart of Christ in all that we do, our life, our work, our relationships. And it goes back to this verse in Psalm 34. It's verse 5. And it says, those who look to him are radiant and their faces are never covered in shame. And so the question I love asking all of my guests in this season of your life, what about Jesus makes you radiant?
It definitely goes back to this book. I feel like I have been obsessed with the fact that Jesus himself came to earth knowing what his life was for, knowing that he'd be betrayed, knowing that he would die, not knowing how, not knowing when, not knowing by who, even as an adolescent boy, like, in whatever way, like my friend Anna and I were just talking about this, like, in whatever way a small boy could understand what was about to happen to him. He knew. And he still dined. He still went literally from party to party to party to party to party. He went to weddings as a single man and danced. He delighted in life, knowing what was to come. And if he can do that with kind of like knowing the end of the story, then I can do that with the mystery of what's going to happen tomorrow. And so I feel like he has made me radiant in just choosing, despite circumstances, like my way to fight best, like my best weapon is joy.
Yeah. So good. So good. Well, I want to read back through the entire title of the book again. So for our friends who want to go grab it, pre-order it, it will be still on for pre-order when this episode comes out. It will be just a couple of weeks ahead.
We have lots of fun goodies.
Launch date. That's what I was about to tee up.
An author is to pre-order the book. Yeah.
Yes, which we're going to talk about in just a second. So the full title of the book is Love Your Life, Even When You Don't Like It All the Time, a realistic guide to unlocking joy in life's messy, mundane, and magnificent. And so tell everybody, where can they grab it? Where can they get all the things?
Yes. You can buy the book wherever books are sold. On Barnes & Noble, Walmart, everywhere. Target. Also, though, there's like certain pieces of this that we're putting together because we want you to be incentivized to pre-order the book. It's like your RSVP to a wedding.
Totally.
It's like, it just would be nice to know that you're coming. Like, if you plan to buy the book, buy it now, it would be amazing.
Also, like Amazon, for our friends who don't know, Amazon doesn't charge you for the book until it like actually ships. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Like,
so
go ahead
math,
and
it's free.
Pre-order. Yeah, exactly.
But then also the fun thing about Amazon is I love that they do this, but if like you buy it today and it's one price and it drops and you're like, oh man, I should have bought it on sale. Don't worry, because they'll charge you the lowest price from the time you order to the time it ships.
Yes.
That's also really cool. So go ahead and order it now so you can lock in the lowest price.
Exactly.
But I will also say we've been putting together a fun list of goodies for pre-order. So if you do, go to rachelawtry.com/book. And there's a place for you to tell us you pre-ordered to be able to get those things.
So fun. Yeah. So please pre-order. Man, it is so
sweet.
It is so important. And
from one author to another. I'm like, you get me. Let's beg together, please.
Yes. I love it. Well, this has been such a joy. Yeah. I have just loved you from afar for so long. And this feels like such a right next message for you. So I'm so excited for our friends to get it in their hands. It's beautiful also. The cover's just gorgeous.
She's fun. She's really fun.
She's real fun. So thank you so much for being here. And I'm so excited to share this conversation with my friends.
Thank you, Rebecca. You are so sweet.